everyone, happy new year. I didn't start my video in a normal way. Hey everyone, it's Hannah. Welcome back. It's first podcast of 2020 and also for over a month. I did Vlogmas, as some of you will know, which is filming every day in the lead up to Christmas. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I got a bit burnt out after Vlogmas last year, so I didn't want to make a podcast for a while. But this year did the opposite, and it kind of reinvigorated my love of like talking to all of you in a slightly different way that isn't just via social media. I painted my nails and I've got something stuck under my nail. I think it's my nail varnish flaking off already. It is. Could you not be so distracting? Anyway. I realised that my personality shines out a lot more in a vlog than it does on a podcast, so I'm going to try and fix that and get back to the sort of slightly rambly state that is my life. Yes, this is a knitting, as you can see by all of the yarn, and sometimes crochet, although not too much, podcast in which I talk to all of you about projects that I'm currently knitting, things I've recently finished, and then, you know, what's coming in, shop updates, and then what's going on in my life. That's an overview. That's the generic overview. That's what you can expect. During which I'm going to move this way and move my Father Christmas pencil out of shot. I drink a cup of tea because tea makes everything better. My tea today is Bird and Blend, obviously. And it's Yule log because the festive season might be over in the real world, but it always continues in my heart. Plus, if I were to put this tea in a cupboard for a year, it probably won't taste as nice, so pop you back there on your coaster. I hope that you all had a lovely Christmas and New Year, or whatever you celebrate. I'm sorry, that was very generic of me. I didn't mean to do that. I had a lovely Christmas. Went down to the south with my parents, joined the choir in for Christmas morning and midnight mass, as some of you will have seen in Vlogmas. Although you didn't see Christmas morning. We just had a really nice chilled out Christmas. Food is good. I was very lucky and very spoilt. I got lots of knitting done, which is always nice. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. New Year was very chilled out. We went round to a couple of our friends' house and had dinner and were very civilised and watched the countdown on iPlayer, only to realise that it's about a minute off. So missed the actual New Year. Thanks, BBC. But like I said, I managed to get a lot of knitting done, so I do have quite a few finished objects for you, and currently only one work in progress right now. Now, I can't remember what I knit the last time I podcast, or what I was knitting the last time I podcast, so apologies if anything is missing. I'm pretty sure stuff is missing. You would have seen a few things that I have been knitting on Vlogmas. I finished 2 hats, or I knit 2 hats that I finished. Oh, I finished these socks too. Oh goodness, I apologise. I'd forgotten about that. But yes, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. If you're watching for the first time, hello and welcome. I'm joining you from a very overcast but quite bright Nottingham here in the UK. If you'd like to follow me on social media, please feel free. Links, as always, can be found in the description box below. And yes, I am a small business owner. My name is Hannah, as I said in the very beginning, and I dye yarn and make tiny beaded stitch markers, of which you will see some later, because they're really cute. That's it. The Corner of Craft, that's my business, and Chromatic Yarns is my yarn business, where I dye colours inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. Ta-da! Look at this new thing. How beautiful. I've even got a giant corkboard. The fun part of the corkboard isn't in shot. You've just got my calendar, which at the same time is quite fun. But the fun part is all here. Dee -dee -dee -dee. So much fun. But yeah, that's the fun part of the corkboard that you can't really see. Anyway, shall we get into talking about some finished objects? Well, so my first finished object I'm going to talk about is this hat. Some of you would have seen me knit it. This is the Bulletproof Allen Hat, which is a pattern on Ravelry. This is knit out of Rosario Cappuccino Aran weight yarn. I bought it Knit Nottingham when I went and had my little chat with her. And it's a gorgeous, very cabled hat. This was part of my Christmas present to Mario. I knit it through Vlogmas. I was very worried that I wasn't going to get it done. I got it done. He's barely taken it off his head since. Oh goodness, which is always good. It's not blocked because I finished it late at night and then had to travel southwards and knew it wouldn't dry in time. So I haven't yet blocked it, but that's okay. My hair's in a bit of a weird style, so you can't fully see it, but it fits. I used, the pattern calls for using a 3.75mm needle, which to me is quite small. Ah, itchy nose. So I looked at what other, I didn't do a gauge swatch, but I looked at what other people used in the projects, and there were many. And everyone used a 4.5mm needle, or most people use a 4.5mm needle, and said that it fit better. And then I was worried it would be too big, and then I finished it and it fits fine. So I used a 4.5mm needle, and I really like this hat. This is maybe the most complicated cable I've ever done, but I feel like nothing's gonna stop me now. I can do all cables. Cables not scary. Nope. Although I thought that they were scary, because I've knit a cabled jumper and I've knit a couple of cabled hats and attempted cable socks, but didn't use big enough needles because I didn't realise that cables made everything smaller, so it didn't really work. But yeah, it's already getting a little stretched out because this is what Mario does. He wears hats to the point where they stretch out. Because he first put it on, he was like, oh, it's a little snug, and I was like, give it a couple of days and it will stop being so snug. That's my finished object number 1. I really enjoyed it. Bulletproof Allen Hat. Next up, you won't have seen me knit this at all. I had this as my Christmas Eve cast on, so you may have seen it a little bit. If you watched Vlogmas. I'll stop talking about it, but I did it. I'm very proud. I mean, I've done it 2 years in a row now, but this is my Christmas Eve cast on. It took me a grand total of 5 days to finish. It's incredible. Very fast. I could have finished it sooner if I didn't have stitch markers to make. But this is my Studio 54 shawl by Christy, who is Yarn Cafe Creations. She designed this shawl, and when she put up little things, I've been like, coming soon. I was like, I must knit that. So I decided to have it as my Christmas Eve cast on. This is going to be a show sample because these are all made out of Chromatic Yarns, which is my yarn dyeing company, as I have said. So the cream colour is Zone of Truth. The light pink colour is Sugar Plum Fay, which is meant to be a Christmas colour, but it's so pretty I might just have Sugar Plum Fay all year round and just be... And then this gorgeous dark purple colour, which is... There's not huge blocks of the purple colour, but still nice. This is the DM's Wife because it's the colour that I dyed for the ties for the groomsmen at my wedding, and it's the colours that my bridesmaid wore, so I thought the DM's Wife is a really nice name. Well, it was suggested to me by someone in an Instagram message, and I took it on board. Or was it YouTube? It doesn't matter. Thank you for the name, I loved it. But I'm going to have some pre-orders of these kits up in the shop in Saturday's update because I love it. So it's all using 4-ply yarn. This is my merino sock base, which is so blimmin' soft. 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. It's like so soft. Buttered kittens, I believe, is a phrase tossed around by Kristen of Villenvine. I just realised my socks kind of match. Anyway, that was really ladylike. And my hair. I need to re-dye it, which is why some of it's up in a ponytail. Yes. It's all using sock yarn held double the whole way down, which means it knits very quickly. I've got 3 skeins of yarn here that I think might... Was it these? I can't remember which 3 skeins I was going to use. I think it might become one of these. Maybe it was these. I had 3 skeins in mind. Where have you gone? I don't know. Anyway, yes. There's 2 sizes of shawl you can make. I chose the smallest of the sizes because the larger size used just over 1 skein, and I didn't want to use more than 1 skein because I don't like having a lot of yarn left over. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But so it just uses just over one skein, but it's still a really good size. Bear in mind that I'm a 5'7" and a bit, not the smallest build female, and yes, this on someone who is tiny would maybe swamp them, but on me it actually looks like a normal size shawl. Yes, I'm going to have pre-orders of this kit up because I love it. Oh, I'm really not in the practice of having a tripod. Okay, I'll stop swinging it around and just show you it. It's a really easy triangle shawl construction. It's paid for pants, I'm not going to go into too many details, but it's got these fun nubbles here, and I kind of messed it up at the bottom because I thought I was just doing what I thought I knew, and it's got them here as well. I just thought I knew what I was doing, but I didn't read it properly. But I kind of didn't fix it, but you can't tell. And then it's got a crochet cast off, which is my first time ever doing a crochet cast off, and I think it looks really pretty. I just think it's really nice. I'll start looking at the camera and not at myself. Because yeah, I've never done a crochet cast off before, and I just think it's a really different way to finish off a shawl. And then we've got, you know, eyelets down the middle, got garter on the very edge, and then it's stocking stitch for the actual thing. I don't dislike purling, so it wasn't too bad. The rows never got monumentally long because you're essentially using double knit DK weight. I was thinking that you could knit this shawl out of DK yarn, and then I realised that sometimes you hold sort of a strand of each colour together. So this is Naked Truth and the DM's wife held together. Naked Truth? What am I saying? The Zone of Truth. What on earth is Naked Truth? Zone of Truth. And then this is Sugar Plum Fay and DM's wife, and then here is Zone of Truth and Sugar Plum Fay held together, which is actually a really nice colour. Kind of want to jump her out of that now, but yes. So this is my Christmas Eve cast on for the first year, not doing a sock Christmas Eve cast on, because I usually do, but I just thought let's do a shawl instead. And now this can be folded up and put along with my other show samples. I have a few more to knit. Ooh, I might have to recruit people. But yes, really enjoyed knitting this shawl. Never know how to fold a triangle shawl. I just kind of do that and hope for the best. So my next 3 finished objects are all socks, so I'm just going to grab my sock blockers 1 second. I suppose I couldn't actually wear these socks now. You've seen these, you've seen them. But they're on a sock blocker. They don't need to be there anymore. They just bring a nice bit of colour to the room. I'm not allowed to paint the walls because I rent the place. So let's do this in the order that I finished them in. So, ooh, this is to go up on my wall. Emma made me this for my birthday. I was going to pin it up. That's why I put it in the bag to come up. So these socks were meant to be my wedding socks, but didn't happen. So I made different socks instead. Or I wore different socks instead, which was still new, because apparently I knit socks like nobody's business. So I knit these using a sock blank that I got when I went to Sweden. These were my Swedish souvenir socks. I can't remember who the sock blank's by, and I believe I threw out the label because I'm that person, but I've still got quite a lot left. So I might weigh it and see how much there is. Maybe make some minis out of it and get them ready for either a mini seam swap or sort of like a mystery mini seam bundle. I did them just for around Christmas time, I think, and they were a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing this. But yes, they are sock blanks, so they don't match at all. They're definitely sisters, not twins, which I kind of love. They're quite a woolly wool. So for those that don't know, knitting from a sock blank. A sock blank is essentially a tube of knitting or a strip of knitting. This one happens to be a tube. That is of bare yarn, which is then dyed. And then you start to unravel one end and you knit yourself whatever you want from it. I happen to knit socks. They're called a sock. I don't know why they're called a sock blank, but I suppose it is what they're called. but I find them really fun because you never know how the colours are going to turn out. If you're someone like my mum who is a stickler for needing to have matching socks, then sock blanks are not for you, but they are for me. Because I could give or take matching socks. Although I'm wearing matching socks today, my next 2 pairs of socks are very matchy. But sisters not twins, which are really cute. I used 60 stitches on 2.5mm needles. I believe 15 rounds of 2x2 rib. Knit the cuff, or knit the leg for a period of time until I think, that's long enough. Start to increase, because I do the New Depths heel, which is a fantastic heel pattern by my BFF. I was going to say BFF for life, but it's kind of implied. Becky Sorensen, Soprano Knits, who started this great thing on Instagram, whereby she has asked people to take a picture of either themselves or of something they've knit that makes them feel really special, and has asked people to share it, tagging her and using the hashtag Make Creative Magic, which I think is a really nice idea, because she was talking about how the dress that she sewed for my wedding basically makes her feel like really powerful and super sexy, and she looked fantastic. I mean, she always does, but she said that no clothes that she's ever got from off the rack have made her feel like that, so she wanted to see kind of what other people have made themselves, be it a pair of socks that they really like that reminds them of something, or a shawl that they've made. It doesn't have to be something you've sewn, it doesn't have to be a garment. I just thought it's a really nice thing. I shared a picture of me in my wedding dress, because any excuse, with my wedding shawl on, because I probably will never look or feel as glamorous as I did on that day, but putting that wedding shawl on just makes me feel a little bit more glam again. Oh, it was such a good shawl. I need to get it out. I need to put it on. But yes, hashtag Make Creative Magic. Let's make this happen. I want to see all of your makes too. I'm following the hashtag, so just saying, might be nice. Socks, I made them. New Depths heel, yes, really good for people that have high arches like myself. It's a short road heel done in a slightly different way to how I've ever seen a short road heel done, with varying increases so you can custom it to fit on your foot. And it's such a cheap pattern, but such a thorough pattern. It's actually a little bit ridiculous, like how thorough her pattern is. There's video tutorials, there's picture tutorials on how to do the stitches. She gives you numbers for all sorts of sizes, so you don't have to do the maths yourself. She's a great pattern writer, I'm just going to say it. Anyway, my next socks are living in my Wham Cow bag. This can now go into hibernation for a year. And these are my Wham Cow socks. I've still got some left, so maybe they'll become minis too. So the point of the Wham Cow was to participate for the first time in Whamageddon. Whamageddon is when you try to go for as long as you can without hearing the song, in December, sorry, without hearing the original version of the song Last Christmas by Wham. I did really freaking well. If you didn't watch my Vlogmas, you won't know this. But these socks are dyed, or the whole kit was arranged by the Yarn Badger, who is Liz, and fantastic. And she designed a kit with a 24 stripe repeat, where you knit the stripe every day in the run up to Christmas. And then if you hear Last Christmas, you get given a mini skein, which you can either knit a stripe in, or you can just knit a row in, or you can do whatever with it. Yeah, I got today 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. I got to day 20 before I heard it. So I got to the 20th of December before hearing the original version of Last Christmas. And then I didn't hear it again. If I hadn't nipped out to the shop to get last minute Christmas presents for people, I wouldn't have heard it. If I hadn't taken my headphones out, I wouldn't have heard it. Handmade Nottingham, I'm looking at you. Not in an angry way, it's a fantastic shot. But these are my socks, I finished them. So I decided to just knit one stripe in or 1 row in. Hindsight, really wish I'd done a couple because you can barely see it. I thought it would show up way more than it does. You can't really see it, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. They're just for fun. They're just socks. These are knit using 64 stitches on 2.25mm needles, 15 rows of rib. I knit these 2 at a time. For the very first time, I knit 2 at a time socks. I've never done that before. Somebody asked if I could make a video on how to start 2 at a time socks, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of, not butchered, it's the wrong word, but made it work, as I believe Tim Gunn would say. So I don't think I'm any authority to tell you how to do it, but I seem to make it work. So I then used the mini for my heels and toes, and they've come out to be a really good size. I was worried that the cuff would be, the sort of leg would be really short, but actually it's a great size. My favourite piece is this bit here, and of course that's the bit that's in a shoe. Should have had a look before I cast them on, but it doesn't matter. Really fun thing to do. It stopped me from working too hard during the run up to Christmas and got me to like stop and knit a stripe. And it was nice to do 2 at a time socks to knit a stripe, because I can imagine knitting, I feel like me knitting I don't think I could do 2 at a time socks all the time, because everything happens slower because you're knitting twice the amount. Which is also how I feel about brioche, even though it does look fantastic. I like the satisfaction of finishing something, so I just knit this all the way down and then measured back once I finished it to where to put the heel, and I don't know if I've put it in the right place, I'm pretty sure I have. And then I cut in the heel using Kirby Werby's afterthought heel method, where you cut the yarn and unpick it to the last 2 stitches, and then I knit 4 rounds straight and then started to decrease like I decrease my toe, just like a normal wedge toe. Don't know if that's a good explanation. The reason I knit around 4 times before I start decreasing it is because of my high arch height in step, and if I just cut it in, it's too tight across my foot. So, but I finished them. Yeah, it took me ages to actually do the heels, so don't know why I'm celebrating, because I kind of fluffed it. I need to take a picture of them to post on Instagram, so I won't put them too far away. My final finish thing that I have with me, I swear I've knit other things. I don't know, maybe I haven't. Because I podcast just after the wedding, didn't I? And just before Vlogmas, so maybe not. I cast on some socks. Because I knew, for those that watch Vlogmas, I will start talking about it in the next one, don't worry. I commented about how it's a Christmas tradition to go to the cinema around Christmas time, and I knew that if I was going to the cinema I would need a normal boring pair of socks to knit. By normal and boring I mean vanilla. I don't mean boring in the slightest, I mean quite the opposite. They are super fun. These knit very quickly, unsurprisingly. So while I still had my toes and heels to knit on my Wham Cow socks, I cast these on for the cinema. So you might be a bit confused and thinking, Hannah, we've already seen these. And you know what? You would be right. You have already seen these, because I knit my sister the exact same pair. We have matching socks. So this is Fab Funky Fibres in the Dark Side of the Moon colourway. It's amazing. It's so good. Oh, they're so good at self-striping. I missed their shop update and I'm really bummed, but at the same time, do I need more self-striping? I've got a few skeins. I don't. I've got 2 skeins. Just 2 skeins. That's not many skeins. But I have enough stash yarn. That's a lie. I don't. I never do. There's always space for more self-striping. They are really good because they sell them in half skein amounts. So 50 gram amounts. So it for 50 grams it was only £13. Which is really reasonable. I mean, I still bought 2 lots of 50 grams because I knit myself and my sister a pair of socks that matched, but that's the wrong bag. This was living in a Christmas bag that I had on a fibre share. No, Get Your Yarn, which is granted like 3 years ago. And yeah, I've still got a good nugget left of each, so I need to weigh them and put them in my nugget box. That sounded, let's not address that. Yes, I can get a pair of socks out 50 grams if I use different colours, heels, cuffs and toes. Heels, cuffs and toes are Rusty Ferret in her static colour, and they're both 75/25 superwash merino and nylon. These ones are 60 stitches on 2.5mm needles because they were the only ones I had free. And yes, behold the rainbow glory. I cut the heel in the same way that I cut the other heel in. I just need to scoot this up a bit because it's sliding down. Yes, I cut the heel in the same way. Kirby Werbies did the thing. Tried to line up perfectly in the middle. We did it whilst watching the last few episodes of The Witcher yesterday. Oh, it's good, isn't it? Oh, Geralt, he's so gruff. Every so often during it, Mario and I would look at each other and be like, "I'm so manly." Oh, that was really attractive. And then it just turned into, "I'm Batman." Socks, I knit them. Sometimes I feel like I should just be quiet and go and live in a hole somewhere. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say about these. They were really fun to knit. They're really fun and colourful, and I'm quite excited to wear them because this bit's going to stick over the top of my boots and you're not going to be able to see the fantastic fun colour stripy bit. So these are my more muted socks, but underneath, boom, the party's happening. Yeah. I also need to take a picture of these for Instagram. The things we do, eh? The things we do for social media. So now we're moving on to whips, and I actually only have one whip. I know. I started this in July. Yep. You've seen the other things I've knit in the process. It got put down. I put it away because I cast on my wedding shawl and was convinced I wasn't going to get it finished. And then finished it, and then I kind of slogged through it a bit. Picked it back up in October and like slogged through it some more. Managed to finish a sleeve. Which is very exciting. And on my decreases. With my Yarnistry Progress Keepers. Told you I don't just use Corner of Craft Progress Keepers. Not that there are any, because I'm still in progress. I finished the body, which I'm now convinced is a little short. I've tried it on, it's a little short. But will go over the top of my dresses that flare out really nicely. So I think I might keep it for a while. Then if I find that I'm not wearing it over the top of my dresses or with skirts that I have, then I can unpick the bottom and knit it longer to wear with jeans. We'll see. My problem is that because I don't leave the house too much, I don't get to wear my pretty dresses that often. So I probably need to stop buying pretty dresses. I just love pretty dresses. I just don't really want to wear them whilst I'm sitting down all day making stitch markers or whilst I'm dyeing yarn. So we're on sleeve number 2. We've got some less colour coordinated stitch markers happening. Also 3 from Yarnistry, 1 from me. The Corner of Craft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on 5 decreases. I've got 1 more to go, and then I have to knit it a bit longer because of gorilla arms. Also, I have a feeling that Jennifer Steingass, who designed this, might be a shorter person than me, because I knit the length of body that it was suggested and I have a longer body. It's my fault. I was fed up of knitting it, so I stopped it when it told me to. Yes, this is the Garden Gate sweater. I completely forgot to tell you. I do apologise. This is the Garden Gate sweater. It is a pattern by Jennifer Steingass, who is Knit Love Wool. And it's probably Steingass. Or is it Steingass? I'm going to pronounce it my German way, Steingass. And it was inspired by Garden Gates in Edinburgh. I'm pretty sure Edinburgh. And I tell you what, it's looking fabulous. I almost said a rude word. I'm not going to. That's not my thing. I even managed to, or not managed is the wrong word, I even decided if I'm going to knit this, I'm going to fully commit, and I did the colour work on the bottom of the sleeve, which I didn't think I was going to do, but it's not very even, so I won't get too close. I knit this while watching Downsizing. Oh, the films I now have associated with knitting this bit of the cuff. It's a terrible film. I mean, we kind of already knew it was going to be terrible when we watched it, which is why we watched it, because we were like, yes, we love a bad film, but it's truly awful. Yes, colour work, not my forte, but want to get better at it, because I really want to knit the shell, you know, the one that's like full-on moonscape all over from Pom Pom a few months ago. I really want to knit that one, but I need to like get better at colour work. So I decided to knit this one instead. This is knit out of Old Maiden Aunt, is the navy blue colour in Lorn Dub, which means blackbird in a language other than my own. I bought this at EYF this year. Last year, we're now in 2020. I bought this at EYF last year. Because they're not having one this year. It's very sad. I'm actually really sad. It was like my one event where I'm like super overwhelmed all the time. Because I'm meeting lots of people and I'm buying lots of yarn, and I'm like constant state of slight anxiety and overtiredness. It's a real, I love it. It makes it sound like I'm complaining. I suppose I am slightly, but I do really like it because I really love like meeting people and talking to people and getting to know people better, because I guess I'm just really bad at networking with people. Eleanor of Knit Nottingham said this to me when I went in for a little bit of an interview for her YouTube channel, which is up on her channel if you want to check it out. And she said that she was surprised by how shy I was when I did my little pop-up shop there. And I'm like, I get it. I am, because I don't know. As soon as I get to know someone, I'm like this. Or if I'm with one other person that I know that I can like bounce off of, then I'm fine. But it's being one-on-one, it just makes me I'm a bit timid. I need to conquer that. Yes, this. And then the grey silver colour is Chromatic Yarns in Moonbeam. Moonbeam, as I like to say when I play the game, because I use Moonbeam a lot. The sleeve is long enough for my arm, which is nice. But yes, I just have one more decrease to go, and I tell you what, I'm not casting anything else on until I've finished this sleeve, because that's how dedicated I am to getting this finished. I want to get it done this weekend. We'll see. But yeah, this is the only thing I'm knitting. I'm using the needles that they use in the pattern, gauge-wise, size-wise. I'm excited to block it out a little bit, see if it evens up the colour work. I'm thinking it might grow slightly. We'll see. But yeah, this is it. My problem is that I'm already thinking about other jumpers I'm going to be knitting. And I don't want to end up in a black hole like I have done with that one, where I'm having to force myself to knit it. But I have a lot of yarn here, so I would like to get some of it down, and if I just knit a couple of jumpers, this will empty up quite a lot and it will be quite nice. I even packaged them up, but I had to keep them. I had to. We'll say it's for a show sample, but I love them. I look so coordinated with the black and the grey and the purple. This was my Necromancer's Fade kit, and this is Necromancer Inflict Wounds and Blight. And yeah, I'm really excited to see people knit with them. But I had to keep this one for myself. Also, there's going to be some babies coming up in my life. Not in my immediate, like, I'm not pregnant, but various people in my life are currently pregnant, so I get to knit some baby things. I'm very excited about that. So might knit some hats, might knit some socks. The gender is a mystery, which makes it even more fun because I can't be influenced by colour at all. So not that it matters anyway. Babies don't care what they wear, as long as they're comfortable, warm and snuggly and look cute as a button. But yeah, I would like to get some of this stash down this year. Also because I'm really bad at balancing time between my business and my personal life. So when you work from home, when I find that making stuff for a living, i.e. bead weaving, can take over your life a little bit, because you think, well, if I'm sitting and knitting, that's me creating, so I may as well be sitting and bead weaving. But it's different, because I have to bead weave. I want to knit. Not that I don't want to bead weave, but you know when you've just made something a few times and you just think, I kind of just want to switch off my brain for a little bit. That's what I mean. Speaking of bead weaving, I'm having a shop update this week. I'm getting into shop stuff. If you're not interested, sorry. Have a nice time. But I'm having a shop update this Saturday, which is the 11th of January. That's very useful, at 4 p.m. GMT. I have had people ask me if I can do a shop update on a different day and a different time, so I'm going to play around with that. I've gone down to doing a shop update once every fortnight instead of once a week, so I don't run myself fully into the ground, and it means that I can make more stuff for a shop update, so it means you can get more stuff all together, so you don't have to pay multiple lots of shipping, for example. Also, I would like to say a huge thank you to everyone who purchased the Stitch Marker Club for January, and also all of the people, so many people, for the Knit a Roll Yarn Club. Knit a Roll Yarn Club is back for another year. We're in campaign 2 now. If you follow me on Instagram, you'd know. Also, if you sign up to my newsletter, you would have got a preview as to when it was going to be released before. It's just pretty cool. This month's theme is Shine Bright Circus Man, based on the fantastic Molly Mock Tea Leaf, RIP. There are still some slots available. I believe there's 5 slots available, so if you'd like to snag yourself one, let me know. If you would like a spot that is not in a base, or that is in a base that is sold out, let me know and I can see if I can switch it around for you. But yes, feel free if you want to. Anyway, shop update this week. We have many stitch markers. I have been a busy little bee, like going cross-eyed almost. So I asked people on Instagram what they wanted to see, and this is the result. This isn't going to work. So people wanted pandas. Some people specifically requested pastel pandas. So this is it. These are all made by bead weaving. They all come on these. They can be worn as earrings, or they can be used as progress keepers. They can even fit a needle in. Bloop. Boop. And you can knit around them, so you can use them as end of round markers as well, which I often do, because so they're all made by sewing tiny beads together one by one. Makes them very durable. Please don't do this too much to your stitch markers, because you might bend it the wrong way, because they bend one way easier than they bend the other way. If you try and bend it the other way, they might break. So yes, very durable, very strong thread is used. They're tiny glass beads, which makes them very light. I used these when I was knitting my wedding shawl, which was made out of mohair, and I clipped on quite a large butterfly stitch marker and it didn't drag it at all, which is contrary to how I found with some other stitch markers that I've used, particularly polymer clay ones or metal ones. They are beautiful, they are gorgeous, but they are more suited to chunkier yarns, whereas these are suitable for all of the yarns. Sales pitch over. So yes, pandas, pastel pandas. I've also made this gorgeous pastel blue one, or minty kind of colour. They got little pink noses. Oh, so sweet. And then we also have the standard colour of panda. This is one of my most used stitch markers. I use this so much. It's always on a project, except for right now, because I'm out of projects. It actually was on these socks. Anyway, so then we'll stick with the animal theme. Some people asked for sloths, so I have some here. Sloth, whatever. He's a little bit sparkly, which makes him a bit special. All of the sloths are sparkly, so if you've already got one, this is the same. But yes, super cute. And then we had a request for ginger cats, so I didn't really have suitable gingery coloured beads, so we've gone orange. With little green eyes, very cute. And then I decided to go for, I had just seen Cats, as in the cinema. I went by myself Sunday morning, There were 3 of us in the cinema. And yeah, I was like, oh, I could do a brown cat. So a brown cat we have. So then we've got some koalas. I made these and then I heard about how much Australian wildlife had been affected, and I'm truly heartbroken. Truly heartbroken. It's so sad. So I right away went on, donated some pennies. There are some amazing people around donating chunks of their sales to various charities supporting the Australian crisis, the wildfires, bushfires, that's the phrase that I was looking for. So please go check them out. Vine is one in particular that I know is doing patterns, but I also know quite a few other people are doing them. Somebody sent me the person that does the really cool crochet designs, sent me her pattern because she's doing donations from her kangaroo pattern, so I will gift it forward and also buy a pattern for someone else. Just needed to get on the laptop. I got new cards with new card numbers. Super annoying. The joys of changing a name. So then we have rainbow sheep. Excuse you. Rainbow sheep are always a popular one. These are something that sell most at shows. But then I was like, rainbow sheep, sure, but let me raise you a pink sheep. It's kind of a pinky purple. And these pink beads are slightly transparent, which is quite cool. And then let's try and make everything vaguely related. Somebody asked for a pink unicorn, so a pink unicorn you shall have. It's using the same fuchsia colour with metallic silver hoofs and horn. Then I've got the same purple that I used for the panda. And then it's got metallic bluey purple pink hoof and horn. Really cute. And then we have this guy in teal, and then it looks black but it's not. It's a really dark blue metallic, blue-green metallic hoof and horn. And then I have no way to link these next ones together, so let's be like breakfast. Sure. That's my only link. Coffee cups. Definitely not from that coffee shop that you just thought of. Nope, just generic, run-of-the-mill coffee cups. Just generic. And with coffee for breakfast you must have eggs. Somebody requested an egg, so we have some eggs going in. It's been a while since I made some eggs. A little hard-boiled egg on your project? Yes, thank you. And eggs make custard, fish fingers and custard. Not that this is related to that show in the slightest for copyright reasons. Generic, completely unbranded police box. Just throwing back to the authentic 60s Britain that we all know and know. But yeah, doodleep. It's not the thing that you're thinking of beginning with a T, but if it was the thing you're thinking of beginning with a T, they have to fight aliens. Oh wow, this is such a stretch. UFOs. And I've actually been watching Doctor Who quite a lot. Not that that's related to anything that we've just discussed. These are a sort of shiny purple, and then all of the details are not shiny, so makes it look like magical and cool. So yeah, that's all the many stitch markers that are going in the shop. It doesn't ever look like much, but there's multiples of each, but I've just brought one of each up because did I want to sit and dig through them? No, I didn't. Next, oh, this is weighty. This might be a mistake. We have a little thing of yarn. I've been dyeing yarn because I'm at Yorkshire Yarn Festival on the 21st of March, so I needed to start dyeing yarn for that, and I didn't get half as much done as I actually wanted to, but that's okay. So let's start with this bad boy. This is from my Knitical Roll Yarn Club that I did last year. This was February's colourway, so there's no spoilers. And this is Don't Be a Sad Bear, Be a Happy Bear. This is based on when Trinket is polymorphed into a man, and then Trinket, who is a bear, is polymorphed into a man, who then is entered into a pie eating contest, and then ultimately is very physically unwell from it. So just imagine a bear being polymorphed into a man eating pie. So then, like, this is meant to be like the shirt that he's wearing, and then this is like the pie crust, this is the bear. Blueberry pie. I mean, I'm pretty sure he eats a salmon pie in it, but I was thinking blueberry pie. I loved this colourway. I saw it knit up, and oh my god, it looks so good. Someone knit a tiny baby cardigan from it, and I was like, that's an amazing thing. So this is Don't Be a Sad Bear, Be a Happy Bear. This is going to be available on my sturdy sock base, which is 75% BFL, superwash BFL, 25% nylon, and then my merino sock, which, as I earlier said, is 85-15 superwash merino and nylon, and they're both very soft. This is like buttery soft. Oh my god, so soft. Whereas this is more rustic, but makes for fantastic socks, as BFL does. Yes, let me pop that in the box so I don't talk about it again. What time is it? Mario will be home soon. Oh yeah, here's another one. I had to bulk it out to make it look nice for the podcast. So if we're sticking with that theme, how do I have so many here? This is also from the Knittical Roll Yarn Club. This is Craven Edge. This is on my merino sock base. Craven Edge is a sword, like an evil cursed, is it a cursed sword, I'm pretty sure, that kind of took over Grog's mind. Grog is one of the characters, and yeah, terrible things could have happened to him, but yeah, he's incredibly thick, is Grog, so... Sorry, unintelligent. Thick was not the nicest term. But it's this beautiful light grey colour with speckles of reds and maroons and like a dark grey black colour. Yeah, the epitome of evil. But yeah, I've got that on merino sock, on sturdy sock, which is the BFL, and then on sturdy DK, which is 100% superwash Blueface Leicester. Because I think these will make real nice hats. Wonderful. Next up, where is my... Did I not actually put one of each in the thing? That was me trying to be super organised. So next up, I've got Spiritual Guardian, which looks a bit different to how it looked on Sparkle. I'm not entirely sure why. Don't know why the pink is darker, but that's fine, we'll deal with it. Spiritual Guardian, which I only had as like a one-off on our Sparkle sock, but I really liked it, so I've tried to work out how to do it, which has ultimately led to another colourway being dyed, because the quantity I put down of the pink was wrong, so then I had to try different pink and a different quantity, and it's still a bit dark, but I'll get there, I'll work it out. Spiritual Guardian is a spell you can cast, which means that you can have like an entity with you to help fight with you. Basically, that's the thing of it. Clerics, man, clerics are so cool. But it's this gorgeous light pink colour with sort of dark charcoal-y colours with speckles of pink and such. Tell you why it looks different. I got a new charcoal through, and I think it's darker than my other one, even though I used the tiniest amount. Kind of annoying. That's such is life. I have that on sturdy sock and on merino sock. So then let's do this one. We've got Big Bee's Hand, which was also like a random one-off on a Sparkle, but I decided to bring it back. Bring it back, sing it back, bring it back to me. Yes, Big Bee's Hand is a spell that you cast and a giant purple hand forms in space and time, and it can attack and punch things and carry things, and it's pretty cool. But yes, it's this kind of purpley colour with speckles of sort of a browny pink and blues, and I just think it's really pretty. Also available on sturdy sock and merino sock. You'll notice that the merino sock is like a shorter skein. It's really funny, but oh my god, it's so soft. It's super soft. That's another one. So now we get onto the unnamed skeins, which is very exciting. So I've tried to think of names. This makes me think of Fairy Fire, but I already have a yarn called Fairy Fire, and this is essentially the epitome of my chaos speckles, as I fondly name them, which is more like random splotches rather than dainty speckles. I can't think of dainty speckles. I don't know, these speckles just seem much daintier. That's down sheepy lane. And then this is like chaos speckles. So I don't have a colourway name for this, but it's a pale grey base and it's got speckles of neon pink and purple and turquoise, and it's just super fun. Super fun. And this is on merino sock and sturdy sock as well. And oh my god, I love it. I think they look so good. So good. And finally, it's the next unnamed one, which whilst I was scaling it up, I realised it looks a lot like Music Is My Weapon. So maybe this will just be a one of a kind, because I use completely different dyes in different quantities. It still looks a lot like Music Is My Weapon. We'll see, I'll have a think. But yes, merino sock, sturdy sock, has this gorgeous pink colour with blue on it, light blue, which makes it look a bit purpley, and then speckles of navy and pink. Yeah, I just think it's really fun. And some of them came out lighter than others, which is all part of the fun. Also, I think this is also how it's twisted. Maybe I should untwist it and reskein it, because I think all the dark pink is hidden underneath. It is. I'll reskein it. Oh god, I hate twisting yarn. I saw that Gamer Crafting used a drill and a hook, and I think I might have to look into something like that, because my god, my finger hurts so much after scaling just these. Yes, beautiful colours. So those are all going in my shop on Saturday the 11th at 4 PM GMT. That is thecornerofcraft.co.uk. Link can always be found in the description box of all of my videos. Please set an alarm to avoid disappointment. If ever you would like because I only do a limited amount, I don't have much space in my house for massive quantities of yarn to dye and store. So I don't often do sweater quantities of updates, because I don't have the space to store it. So if you would ever like a sweater quantity of any yarn on any base that I stock, please send me a message and we will sort something out. Because I'm sorry. This is my office and my craft room, and where I used to store all my yarn is now full of undyed bare yarn. I've started to migrate everything to the spare room as well, and I feel like that's a little bit mean to take over all of the house. So if ever you would like a sweater quantity on any base in any colour that I've dyed, please drop me an email, thecornerofcraft@gmail.com, and I can sort that out for you, because I realised that it's not fair for people that need more than 3 skeins to make a jumper, and I think most people do need more than 3 skeins to make a jumper. So yes, sincerest apologies for that. I realise that it makes me look I don't know, I physically do not have the space to dye yarn unless I know it's going to sell. Does that sound awful? Maybe. I don't even know if this is going to sell, so. Especially when I'm currently prepping for a show as well. There's no space for anything. Lucky Mario, isn't he glad to be married to me? Well, my tea is cold, so that's slightly disappointing. So what have I been up to in life? Not a whole lot really, just the standard Christmas New Year malarkey. Slowly getting back into the rhythm of work and trying to take the time to acknowledge in the evenings when I can't concentrate on bead weaving anymore, because I'm sat on my phone scrolling, because it's mind numbing, and bead weaving actually requires more concentration than I think it does. Because it comes quite easily, because bead weaving comes quite easily to me, and I don't have to think about the action of doing it. I think that it can't be that difficult, but actually if I sit and do it for too long, I kind of get brain numb. So I've started to acknowledge when that happens, and I put the bead weaving away and I sit and I knit, because that is a better use of my time than scrolling through my phone and, you know, growing ever more paranoid about my life. I'm joking, but am I? But yes, I'm trying to do a better work-life split. Mario's gone back to work. The bakery has moved to the shop next door, so it's a much bigger space, which is really cool. It does mean that Mario's been putting in quite a few long hours to help get the space ready. They all have, which is fine, but it just means, you know, long days without talking to him. Then he gets home and goes to work. Or he gets home and goes to bed, sorry, because he's got work next to him. It's a tough cycle. Definite first world problem, I know. But it's quite good. I'm trying really hard to get into planning. I've been talking to Gem of the Little Grey Girl. Gem and Co, I believe, is her organisey thing. Hence, not that it's very filled out at the moment, but this is by Tilly and the Flop. Tilly and the Flop. Sounds like a terrible band. Tilly Flop, who you may have seen at Edinburgh Yarn Festival. She's also been at many other yarn festivals. I first heard of her at UAF, which is why I mentioned that one. And yes, she's got yarn shows on it, which is really cool. So I've put a little star next to the ones that I'm in. I am in, so 21st of March is Yorkshire Yarn Festival. It's free entry, which is pretty cool. And then I'm at the Walmonty again for the second year, which is also cool. That is the 13th and 14th of June, the same weekend as Download, which is... There's no one I really want to see though, so I'm not too heartbroken. Then I'm also at Fibre East for the first time. I think it's my first like southern show, which is very exciting. I have never been to Fibre East, but I've heard great things about it, so I'm slightly overwhelmed that I got in. So I'm frantically beading and dyeing yarn, trying to prep for all of these shows, but I can only do as much as I can do. But now I need to photograph these yarns. Anyway, sidetrack. Life. I went to see Cats because Mario had to unexpectedly go to work on a Sunday morning, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna book and see Cats, because I know he didn't want to see it, and it was 10 AM on a Sunday, and I could have asked my sister to come with me. In hindsight, maybe should have done, but I thought 10 AM on a Saturday, does anyone really want to have an excuse to get out of bed before 9 AM on a Saturday? And I suppose many people do, but I maybe don't want to, but I did. And I went to see Cats, and there were 3 of us in the cinema, and it wasn't great, but the music is good, the dancing is good. I enjoyed it, but it was a bit weird. I am glad I went to see it though, so I could have my own opinion on it. If that makes sense. Other than that, I'm pretty sure that's about it. You saw everything that I got up to during December at Vlogmas. For those of you who didn't watch Vlogmas, I passed my driving test, which is really cool and slightly shocking. I'm surprised that I passed first time. Not because I'm an incompetent driver, just because I still don't feel like a confident driver. If ever Mario asks, oh, do you want to drive to insert place here? I'll be like, no, it's fine, you do it. So I actually need to drive more. I've only driven a handful of times since passing my test. The last time I drove is that time I drove by myself. I vlogged about it because it was Vlogmas, which shows you how long ago it was. But the problem is Mario takes the car during the day when he goes to work, and then I don't ever need to drive anywhere because I work from home. Post office is literally at the top of the road. I can walk to the top of the road with my parcels, and yeah, I don't know, I'm a very anxious driver still. But yes, that's it. I'm pretty sure that's everything I have to share with you. Mario is well. We played D&D. I bought some new dice. I kind of dyed that pink yarn inspired by some dice that I bought, and then I realised it looks really like music is my weapon. How frustrating. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please let me know how you spent your New Year and festive season. And let me know what projects you're currently working on, things you're really enjoying about projects you're working on. Are you also slogging through Sleeve Island? We can be in the second sleeve club together. What projects are you planning on making? All of that fun stuff. And yes, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to subscribe. That means that my videos will pop up in your subscription feed. If you click the little bell icon that comes up after you click subscribe, then you'll get a notification through on your device, whatever device it is. You can get them on computers now. I believe you get notifications on computers now. Feel free to hit the notification bell for a notification to come through every time I upload or go live or whatever. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, please feel free. Links can all be found in the description box below. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have Instagram, please follow me on Instagram. I'm desperately trying to get to 10,000 followers on Instagram, not for the number, but for the swipe up feature for Instagram stories. That's all I want, swipe up. Not in life, I obviously want more in life, but that would be a nice stepping stone. So if you'd like to help me on my journey to get to 10,000 followers, for there to be a big old giveaway on Instagram, please help me in my endeavour. Ow, that was my elbow. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in a future video. I almost said tomorrow, it's not Vlogmas anymore.